I had a story in my head for over 10 years. And I told myself I was waiting for the perfect moment. But the truth is, I was just postponing it. I was avoiding sitting down to write my comic. I was 17 when the idea came to me. A boy who has hallucinations, but what's really happening is that he's actually experiencing a psychic war that slowly starts reflecting in his reality. That was the concept, okay? For me, it was the perfect concept. I was in my first year of university. It was August, and I was sure I will have it ready by the end of the year. And in my mind, this comic, will be ready by 2015. But it didn't happen. I got so excited about the project that I overloaded myself with knowledge. I tried to understand everything about my own concept. Why the hallucinations? What do they meant? What they were for? How did they really appear in the human brain? And someone in the middle of that, I told myself, you need to live more before you write and draw about life. At the time, it made sense. I was already 18. So I paused the project and I never really came back. Years passed. I graduated, worked as a designer, got into the music industry, into freelancing. I even taught comics. I was teacher. I became a teacher. I helped other people finish their project while I couldn't even start mine. I teach other kids, other teenagers how to accomplish writing and drawing their own mangas, their own comics, but I couldn't even finish mine. And that messed with me. That annoyed me. That haunted me like almost every night. I tried many times to go back to the project, but it always felt heavy. I tried many times to go back to the project, but I couldn't. It felt heavy, it felt overwhelming. So I started creating other ideas instead. And while writing these new ideas, I felt ashamed of continuing these other personal projects because I wasn't even able to finish this one, the first, the original one. How could I start something new when I hadn't finished this one? I felt like I owe it to my younger self. If you've stayed this far to this video, to this story, please stay because what's next, I think might be very helpful to your, to your process because it was a deal breaker back then for me. This story demanded that I studied the psyche, the mind, the brain, even spirituality. Things I didn't understand intuitively, and things that I thought that needed to be extremely studied before writing about. And I didn't, as I didn't have a formal proof, title, or a degree about those topics, I didn't feel enough. I didn't feel enough for this project. And that led me to enroll in a psychology degree. I already had finished my studies. I already had a master's degree, but my subconscious told me that I wasn't ready, that I wasn't enough, that I didn't have the authority to talk about these complex topics. Even though this was a comic, even though this was entertainment, that led me to a mistake I'm actually grateful for. Because this mistake, this enrollment to a psychology degree, led me to a painful realization. I had avoided myself so much that I convinced myself that I needed another full, complete degree just to do what I already wanted to do, what I already had to do. It was like I needed permission, but in reality, I was avoiding sitting down to create. I avoided it so long that I started projecting myself outwards, helping other people build their dreams, freelancing, developing great, beautiful creative projects. But I was so far from my own work that I began living through everyone else's. If I couldn't build mine, I will help everyone else build theirs. After realizing all of this, obviously I quitted the psychology degree because underneath everything, the same feeling stayed. I was constantly anxious. I had a heavy, heavy and painful pressure in my chest. It was like something was unfinished within myself. And this pain remembered that to me all the time, every day. I was in constant pain. In other words, I had avoided myself so much that I convinced myself that I needed more knowledge, more experience, just to do what I wanted to do. In 2022, I returned to the project with a fresh mind and I started creating some concept arts and I started sharing them on social media. And this small effort, small but consistent effort, led to another opportunities, even another country. But I still wasn't writing the comic. I was just releasing some concept, some character designs, some illustrations, but it was something. But I was avoiding the important thing, the most important thing for someone that wants to publish their own comic or their own manga. And it is writing the story. I was avoiding that. I was avoiding sitting down to create, sitting down to write. I was avoiding sitting down and getting serious about it. Because for me, the easy part was drawing, the easy part was illustrating. But the hard part is writing. There is where the magic really happens. There is where creation plants its foundation. Until 2025, it became very clear. If I didn't do it, I had to go back to a full-time job, 8 hours. At the beginning, it was 4, and then it was 8. I had to, I couldn't balance freelancing anymore because all my energy was in this job. And there is where it hit me. If I didn't sit down and create my thing, my project, my manga, my comic, my story, my life would be filled with everything except that. So I quit it. I quitted that job and came back to Canada. I'm 29 now, and this year, 2026, I am finally writing the comic. And in 3 months, I had accomplished more than I ever accomplished in 10 years. Speaking of the story, because all those previous years helped me to develop this creative callus that filled me with skills and abilities to work in my dream project. And I'm writing and I'm creating for the first time, like in this seriously, not because I am more talented, but because I stopped avoiding it. I stopped avoiding creation. And at the same time, I stopped avoiding myself. And I've learned this. Creating is not inspiration, it's discipline. And creativity is not creation either. Creativity is just this magic world where magic happens. But creation is putting your spiritual energy into action and making something physical that other people can share, that other people can enjoy. That's creation. And every time I catch myself avoiding it, avoiding creation, I notice and I just force myself because I'm rewiring myself again to go back to creation mode. I am not waiting for the perfect moment anymore. I'm taking action. I'm creating. And if you're in the same place that I was, you probably don't lack talent. You don't have a creative block. You're just avoiding yourself. And until you face that, nothing really changes.